Hey everyone, my name is Zach.
I'm Abigail.
Hi
Hi, Zeldy
Zeldy.
Oppen. Hi, how are
Thank,
you?
Nice to meet you. Thanks so much for taking the time out of the day to speak with us. We're super excited to hear all about you, your story, your venture, what you're up to today. So let's just kick it off. So Zeldy, you think you could tell us a little bit about your background, like where you're from and any other previous work experience that you've had?
Sure. I am born and bred in Lakewood, New Jersey. I currently work at Open Group, which is a real estate company. And on the side, I am involved in nonprofit ventures. I started Yad B'Yad, which
What?
about
Wow.
9 years ago.
You founded Yabiad?
Yeah, so Yad
Wow.
B'Yad is an organization that focuses on mental health. We created support groups in person, which 8-9 years ago, it wasn't as accepted as today. We weren't even sure if people would show up, but they did. And we recruited experienced therapists who donated their time and gave towards the community, and offered them that in-person support. We ran about 30 groups over the course of the years. As we spoke, or as I spoke with many of the participants, we had this request that it's amazing that they're able to meet like-minded people and people in similar situations, and the support is so crucial, but their families aren't receiving the support that they need. And a few members called me up and said, my neighbor has a child who's sick. My neighbor, lost her spouse, and there's so many organizations who are helping them. But here I am, my husband's in either a psychiatric facility or severely depressed, and there is so little support. My family can't stay afloat, which is how Imadi was born. Imadi was focused on helping families stay afloat while they're contending with mental health difficulties. And when we created Imadi, I saw an ad in the AMI magazine for the OU Impact Accelerator.
Oh.
And quickly applied and actually created Imadi as we went through with the application. So it was an idea,
Wow.
but it didn't actually come to fruition until we saw the ad. And from, I think it was about April time until we met with the OU Accelerator judges, July time is when I put together Imadi. And
Do you build it around the application?
So we did, because we really looked at what questions were being asked and what would be important, and that really helped form Imadi. I had created Yad B'Yad, so I definitely had organizational experience, but this was very new and different, and the response was amazing. We had a really great advisory board. Dr. Blumenthal joined, and many other well-known clinicians, and relief resources, which is a really big and well-known mental health organization, supported us, and OHEL, David Mandel. We just had so much support, and we met with the judges in July, and we made it to the next level. And when Jenna let us know that we were one of the one of the winners to come to the presentation, it was just so exciting. And that night was a really exciting night as we presented Imadi. And as you know, we were one of the chosen organizations. It was one of my most exciting experiences in my life, spending time at the OU Impact Accelerator. Really having the opportunity to meet so many like-minded and amazing people that I still keep up with today. was just so incredible and extraordinary. And the education that I was able to receive, and the speakers, and, you know, Jenna just put together this unbelievable, you know, schedule for us. And I learned so much, and I put that forward at Imadi, and even until today, as you know, we talk forward, even today in my current organizational roles, it's something that I hold with me very, very, very tightly.
Wow. So just like taking a step back for a second, how did you go from real estate to now being involved in mental health? Like what was the impetus for that?
So I still am involved in real estate, and I, you know, also am involved in the nonprofits. So I was approached that there was a need for support groups. I had no mental health experience, and I just really loved the idea. The only concern was with Yaviat is how were we ever going to raise these funds? And there was like this like light bulb moment of, I'm going to recruit the clinicians to volunteer, and we're going to offer this for free. As we all know, you know, when a family or individual is experiencing mental health difficulties, it can be so costly, and to be able to offer something at no cost was something that was very important to me, which, you know, I carry through with Imadi, to be able to offer them the help at no cost to the families. And, you know, again, we were just met with such enthusiasm and willingness from these therapists. Some even traveled in 2 hours each way to donate their time.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little about some of the services that Imadi provided?
Sure. And I'd like to add that about a year ago, Imadi joined Bikur Cholim of Lakewood in an official role, and is currently still thriving there until today.
Wait, what's Beaker Cholim?
So Bikur Cholim of Lakewood is an incredible agency that offers many services, medical services. And they approached us and asked us if we could collaborate together. They'll offer us location and many, 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 you know, amenities, and we would be housed under their umbrella, separate organization, but, you know, joined together. And we accepted that offer, and last August they took it over officially and are continuing its important mission, and it's still going on until today. Imadi offered families resources, education, and most importantly, advocates. We recruited volunteers from the community, and we paired up each volunteer with a family to really focus on them and to give them whatever assistance was necessary. And it was so individualized. Some families needed housing, furniture, cleaning help, food, like really basic necessities. So some of them needed a caring person in their life. Some of them, you know, didn't even know where to start looking for therapy. And a big focus of ours, which is a theme running through, is we really were able to help them find high-level care at no cost or very low cost. And that was just a very important aspect for us. You know, the financial piece, you know, being able to offer them, we were able to connect with clinicians and agencies, and you know, like I remember one family was paying about $3,000 to $4,000 a month on therapy, and we were able to move them all to a local agency, and there was no cost at all. So that was,
Wow.
that's just one example.
Wow, that's amazing.
You know, really the most important aspect of Imadi was the family shouldn't feel alone. They're experiencing such suffering and hardship, and to know that there's a community that cares about them and people who care about them, you know, like even little things like gifts that we were able to secure for them, clothing, it just makes people feel so cared about. And mental health, you know, isn't as covered with the, you know, Jewish communities as many other illnesses. So, you know, that was something that we're very proud of.
Sounds great. Who who was your clientele? Was it just the Lakewood community, the broader Jewish community?
So we were focused here locally, and we did have, goals to expand to other communities. At this point, it is currently at Bikor Cholim, and I don't know what their future goals are.
Was it just you running it before? Was that before you before it merged, I guess, with Beaker Cholim, or did you have other people with you on the team? Who was on, your full staff?
Sure, there were many members on the team. The co-founder was Hannah Esther Schechter, and we had a social worker on staff, Janice Lieberman, and then we had a clinical advisory board of 4 clinicians, ranging from therapists to neuropsychologists, Dr. Samuel Mandelman, and other clinicians. So we were really supported, and everyone was just so gracious and wanted to give to us. And that's something that I really feel ran very strong at the OU. The mentors, the networking, everyone involved was just so gracious and wanted to help us. It's just so incredible.
So that was our next question. Our next question was going to be, although you've touched on it many times already, but sort of like, were there any immediate, once you got that call from Jenna that said, you're part of our cohort, like, were there any immediate results?
Well, I had people reach out from all over the United States when they read about us online, offering assistance. We had a lawyer, we had donors, we had many people reach out just from the publicity of being part of the OU. And obviously for us to be affiliated with the OU gave us that hashgacha. It definitely helped our organization grow and have others be interested in helping us.
So can you share with us some of the highlights that you like, or the takeaways that you learned from being a part of this accelerator? Like, what were some of your favorite moments, like maybe trainings or lectures or whatever? Like, were there any key parts that you can think of?
My absolute most favorite part was meeting the other founders of the organizations and talking things over with them, encouraging. I got so much encouragement and support from them. Even last month, I'm currently at COVID Plasma Initiative. I reached out to Yaakov Davis for help with, some broadcast group on WhatsApp. He quickly helped me. Yosef Giller's always, helping me with my website. It's, we're such a team, and really having that support and encouragement, and really everyone has each other's back, and everyone wants to help each other. It's so different than the corporate world. Being a part of this and having everyone just really want each other to succeed to the best that they can.
That's awesome. So you mentioned it already that you now have moved on to COVID Plasma. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So I'm just going to take a step back. January time, I started another mental health organization with Zvi Wesson. He's a clinician with about 15 years of mental health crisis experience. And we joined together. It's still, we're starting it very slow and steady. And I'm using so much of what I've learned at the OU Impact Accelerator to build it as smartly and strong as possible. And we're offering acute mental health care coordination. And we meet with families who are experiencing acute mental health situations. We either meet with them here, actually where I am right now, or in their homes, and we handhold them until they're in a safe place, a more stable place. So that's been ongoing. In March, the end of March, or actually it was early April, I think it was the first day of Pesach, Cholamoid.
Those months
I
are blur now.
It's all. I was asked to join the COVID Plasma Initiative. It was still in its infancy. It was formed about a couple of days before, and I heard, saving lives, plasma, and all in all our communities, especially so here in Lakewood, where so many people that I personally know and so many families that I'm close with have lost loved ones, and so many of them were sick at that time. And I thought, what better way for me to spend my time? We were under heavy quarantine. My son is not well, which I'm going to talk a little bit about in a moment. So we were in quarantine for about 13, 14 weeks in our home, not even going to supermarkets.
Oh,
and
wow.
and I'm a very social, outgoing. I mean, I don't go a day without meeting someone. And it really was very challenging for all of us. Of course, my son's health is the most important. And I just knew I had to do something meaningful at this time. And, God sent this opportunity right to me. And it was so interesting because after I joined, I learned so much about what we were doing, and it tied right into my son's illness, which really brought it full circle and made it extra meaningful for me. And this was something that I didn't even know when I joined the organization. So my son, about 3 years ago, suddenly stopped functioning and lost most of his physical, cognitive. He really deteriorated severely, really fast. And it took us about a year to get his diagnosis of autoimmune encephalitis. It was made very famous with Brain on Fire. There's a movie, there's a book. And this hospital in Delaware was the one who, again, we went to so many hospitals. It was such a hard time for us. They were able to diagnose him. And they treated him with this procedure called the plasmapheresis, which, cleans out the body of antibodies. In my son's case, it was actually the antibodies were attacking his brain. So they just cleaned out his antibodies and then put back his blood. And then monthly until today, he needs treatment. It's called IVIG, which is a collaboration or compilation of 20 to 30,000 people's antibodies that are donated, and they actually put it into him through IV every single month. And this is what helps him stay healthy and physically okay. So I joined COVID Plasma Initiative. I find out the medical director is Dr. Levin Brown. He was the ICU doctor at DuPont Hospital, which saved my son. And the procedure that they're using to save people's lives is plasmapheresis, and they're collecting all these, life-saving antibodies, and they're putting it into those who are not well, and it's actually saving them. There's so much clinical research coming out, and they're seeing that it actually helps, really decrease death in over 50% of people who received this life-saving treatment. So again, for me, this was extremely meaningful, that it just, it's such a part of my life. And for me to be able to understand the procedure and, to be able to be a part of this, again, it's just, on a personal level, extremely meaningful. From a Jewish community level, it's mind-blowing how our communities all over the United States have rallied and generously donated their plasma. We were featured, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, all over the media, seeing Orthodox Jews account for over 50% of the United States plasma donations. And it's just such a beautiful Kiddush Hashem. And there's so much positive publicity for us as a Jewish nation, especially at times like today, where, we can use having this positive recognition. And, again, the same things that I saw when I was part of Imadi and Yad, but collaboration, joining together with other organizations and other healthcare centers and other agencies, just mushrooms and gives the ability to grow and to, like, here it's like literally life-saving. We partnered up with so many organizations. The OU is one of our key partners. They helped us recruit in the beginning. It was very hard to find those who had, very recently recovered from COVID-19, and the OU, again, is one of our key partners. They helped us recruit, along with so many other Jewish organizations. And we set up drives all over the country, Georgia, Florida, Tri-State. We had actually right across the street, I'm looking at the building, we set up for this month with Bikur Cholim of Lakewood. I'm actually partnered with them again at COVID Plasma Initiative. And we're setting up 600 donors to come and donate plasma. Today there's a drive at Yeshiva Flatbush. We're featured in the Mishpacha today too. It's really just incredible, and all the credit goes to the plasma heroes, we call them, those who give up of their time and literally their blood to help save lives. Plasma is called liquid gold, and it literally is, it's gold. It's like so incredible how God put in us the medicine and the treatment needed to help others.
Wow, that's crazy. What do you actually do for, like, what is your position?
So my official position is a director of PR and communications, although I'm really involved in all aspects of the organization, from the drives. One of the focuses that I am very involved in, which I learned a lot at the OU Impact Accelerator, and has been very successful, is reaching out to different corporations and companies for swag for our amazing plasma heroes. And we had so many fundraising and donor educational classes at the OU Impact Accelerator, whether it was speaking to those who are involved, or role playing. And that really taught me a lot. We got a few thousand Adidas bags donated by Adidas that we give out. Uber has given us vouchers for our donors to get there and back from the drives. LifeWorks this week just donated 300 power banks. We Thank You Hashem. I want to mention Thank You Hashem. Are you familiar with Thank You Hashem movement?
I've seen the bumper stickers.
So that's a huge movement, mostly on Instagram, but bringing gratitude into our lives and thanking God for what we have. And they're one of our key partners. They branded the Plasma Hero and our logo that I love so much, and they continue to help us in so many ways.
Do you have the logo on you?
Do I have the logo on me?
Yeah, like, is it on like your phone case? Like, okay, I don't know, like, can we see it or no?
Yeah, I'll send it over. It's not on my phone. Well, I'm using my phone right now, but
yeah.
I have like a lot of the swag in my car. I could take a picture or just send you right when
Awesome.
we're done. But they did such a great job. Charles Bloomstein, Yaakov, Josephy. And we recruited Joey Newcomb, Benny Freeman, like Joey made up a song for us about plasma heroes. It's just, again, it's just unreal, the Jewish community. Like, I really want to focus on that, like just how people want to do good and are so gracious. Like we're like, people are just so happy to be a part of, and everyone, is so committed to helping those. When it was Pesach time, there were so many ill people in the hospitals in the tri-state area, and Rabbi Reisman, he's our rabbinical advisor, he gave the halachic ruling that people should go on Shabbos and on Yom Tov to donate plasma, and right now it's going around the whole United States. Our plasma is being sold, and we're really being recognized for it. And, you know, our goal really is to save lives and to bring that positive, you know, Jewish press, which, you know, is well deserved.
Wow, that's incredible. And with like the news of like COVID changing every single day, is it like, what's like the feeling around the plasma?
So first of all, when you talk about things changing in the beginning of the organization as we were forming, I just want to mention it was formed by Chaim Lebovitz and Morty Serral, Abba Sotitsky. They jumped right into it. Chaim is a shoe manufacturer. Morty is a wealth manager. He's a lawyer, and Abba is in real estate. And they didn't even meet each other for a long time after they started, and I still haven't met some of those that I've been working with every single day. So, you know, things were changing so quickly, and there was no clear understanding of what was going on with COVID-19. And we had to keep pivoting and moving and jumping and learning new things, literally like minute to minute, hour to hour. We've been working together with the New York Blood Center, with Miller Keystone, and just, I don't think my brain was ever had to work so hard or had to be so sharp, because there's just so much evolving. So at some point about 2 months ago, you know, the blood centers had a decent amount of plasma. And as the nation, you know, has much more cases of COVID, there's a real shortage, which is why we started another whole campaign for much more drives. And when somebody donates their plasma, by the next day, it can be in 3.5 people, meaning one donation can help save 3.5 people's lives.
Wow.
And the way I see it is the opportunity I have to literally be just a small part of saving so many people's lives is something that I will never have. And I just feel so privileged and humbled, really humbled to be a part of it. Like I'm not an EMT paramedic. I'm not on Hatsala, and to be so involved in literally saving people's lives, it's just, I really feel it's like a really big gift from God. I feel really lucky.
Wow. And all of this you're doing while you're still doing real estate?
Yeah, and the mental health organization. I actually also got involved in a mass campaign, Mass to Protect. And there are many who are, many coronavirus are having a lot of neuropsychiatric
Like trauma?
symptoms. Aside from the trauma, it's actually the coronavirus caused their brain to be inflamed. I have a lot of experience with this, unfortunately, from my son's illness. And one of the doctors who is part of COVID Plasma Initiative, Dr. Henny Shoshana, she approached me about starting a grassroots initiative to help those who are suffering with neuropsychiatric illnesses. So I was involved in the beginning, and it did take off, and they're currently helping patients in, you know, local hospitals and rehabs who are experiencing this. And, you know, when my son got sick, and, you know, it was just so challenging for our family, for him, for myself, you know, I would have never thought that, you know, something so meaningful could be born from my, you know, painful and really hard experiences. And again, for me, that's, you know, just making meaning of something that's so painful, it is very healing to me and my whole family. Like, my family are my biggest supporters. My husband, my children, my daughter, OU Oppen, I have to mention, is social media manager at COVID Plasma Initiative and was also part of Mass to Protect. She also did run the social media for Imadi. And, you know, getting a chance to work with my daughter is really something that I love. And all my children are just so supportive, and they're so proud, and I couldn't do it without them.
Wow.
And it sounds like you're like the go-to person. With someone starting something, they're like, let me get Zeldy on board.
You know, I definitely have some experience, and I have to give the OU a lot of credit, because so much of what I've learned was just, you know, from literally being thrown into it and learning as I go along. And thank God things went really well. But to be able to have a formal education, and the people and professionals that Jenna recruited, like, I would never have access to them. And, you know, I always think back at the mentor networking meets. I don't know how it's working with the second cohort. You can tell me. Do you know how they did the networking?
It's been like all on Zoom basically.
Right. So
But it
it's
is
great.
going well.
Yeah.
No, I can't imagine anything that Jenna's running, and now you know, Imadi is part of it. It wouldn't be so successful. But there's something about being in the room together, and you know, meeting CEOs and of nonprofits, of businesses. They each gave me so many different pointers that I was able to really use right away, and, you know, troubleshoot. And even today, I'm in touch with a lot of those people that I met, aside for the peers, but those that I met at the OU networking and mentor meets. And, you know, again, you know, to have access to that and have the opportunity to talk with people who are so intelligent and so successful and so passionate about giving back. You know, they're happy to be part of the OU Impact Mentor Program. You know, it's just, I love meeting people who are so altruistic and so giving, and it just adds so much to my life.
Wow.
So as someone who has clearly started and been involved with, like, I don't even know, it sounds like 20 ventures or not. Do you have any tips for someone trying to start their own venture?
I think the strongest message I would give someone is, if you have an idea, really go with it. There are so many people out there who want to help you. Never hesitate to reach out. The people that we think are the busiest and most important and most involved have shown me that they have been the ones to make themselves so available and to be my biggest supporters, cheerleaders,
Well, it sounds like you have now become that person. You're the busiest and have so many things going on, and you're still picking up new projects.
Oh, I'm always, you know, happy to be able to give to others what so many people gave to me. And, you know, when I started out, so easily I could have been like, you think it's going to ever happen? You know, people would, well, I'll give you know, an example. People are never going to really show up to in-person support groups, you know, for those who are, you know, spouses are severely mentally ill, or, you know, children who, you know, are suffering from drug addiction, or, you know, suffering from, you know, spouses suffering or you know, on the autism spectrum. You know, these are things that people really keep private. And I just want to add, you know, so much of what Imadi does, you know, continues to do, is a lot of this pain is very private, and people don't have the same support. So, you know, being able to, again, to give them that support when it's so needed is something that's very near and dear, especially, you know, to say, again, with my son's illness, when I didn't know of one person who had this illness. It's so rare and so underdiagnosed, and I was so alone. And you would think, you know, I was already running an organization for 7 years. I had a lot of contacts, and even through that, I was so alone in it. And I really know what it feels like to be experiencing something so difficult and be so lonely. And I never, ever, ever want somebody to suffer in that way. And so back to the message, you know, people who have ideas, really just go with it and face the fear and jump right into it, because there are so many people who will support you and encourage you, and it can happen. And, you know, watching the OU Impact Accelerator, you know, which really helps organizations grow. And you have all these like projects going on that I've been following on LinkedIn and on Instagram. And you gave so much opportunity to, you know, people like just sitting in their houses for COVID-19 to really make an impact.
We don't even come close to Ahuva's social media prowess.
She's great.
Yeah. So I think that's all the questions I have. Abigail, too. Abigail, do you have any final?
I have no questions. I'm just like still amazed at everything that you do.
Yeah.
I feel like in another 5 years you're going to be starting like 4 more things, and it's going to be like, I know Zeldy.
Only God knows. God willing, and really, you know, I've always found that Hashem helps so much. You know, when we have the right intentions and we're in it for the right reasons, He helps us fly. He really does.
Man.
Amen to that.
And good luck to both of you. Are you back at YU?
Well, what does back mean?
Like, are you like virtual? Like Ahuva's having virtual class until January. Are you going in person or?
I think we're both staying.
Yeah.
Staying.
I have one class that's in person, but whatever. I think there's still recordings and stuff, so I don't really know. I don't plan on dorming.
Oh, I could see that. You know, this is not going to be part of the interview. She went right back to Washington Heights. She was so excited to be back with her friends.
Oh, wow.
Even though the classes are virtual. I think she still was really happy to be in the like college atmosphere.
I mean, why the Heights if she goes to Stern?
I think she wants to be close to YU.
Oh, the Wolf.
She's right across the street.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is she in Sims or
Yeah,
Stern?
yeah. She's in Sims.
Marketing?
You got it.
Nice. That was a good guess.
Yes, right on target. And she's
Nice.
getting a lot of experience. It was so nice meeting both of you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is so fun. This is
Wait, so
this is
I
really
need to know,
inspiring.
are you now in a real estate office or in the plasma office?
This is the real estate office.
That's what I figured.
Which donates space for our cause. I have to tell you this quick story that I told Zachary. It's so exciting. So if you have another 5, let me check on the time.
Oh, I meant, is this the setup one?
Yes.
Oh, I meant I should have brought this up in the interview. Can we make this part of the interview?
Yes, definitely. You can ask me a question. Has anything really interesting happened over the course of?
Is anything really interesting? Who's on your team now, and any interesting stories about that?
Sure. I'm working together with the greatest team of doctors, professionals, and I am working very closely with a volunteer on the swag. And he was just so impressive. We never met, but there was just something about him that just struck me, like, I want to set him up. And I thought of my best friend's daughter. And again, I never met him. They got set up and they got engaged.
Wow,
and
that's crazy.
It's crazy. He's from Flatbush. I'm from Lakewood. I actually met him for the first time at his engagement party, along with Morty Serrell, who's one of the founders of COVID Plasma Initiative. And again, in this virtual world, we are tied to, the virtual communication, and then having the opportunity to meet them in real life is always very, exciting and interesting. But this was one of my most incredible moments of being part of COVID Plasma Initiative, how God just set us all up exactly where we needed to be. So this, Jewish family will, God willing, be built. They're getting married in about 3 weeks.
Wow.
And it's, yeah. short dating period, short engagement. And, you know, we all joke that we're going to have a COVID brothos, and I actually put aside some swag in case, you know. It's branded. So it's called, you know, one of our hashtags are plasma power. So I felt like this shit up was really plasma power.
Hashtag Meta COVID Plasma Initiative.
Ooh, I like that. Maybe I'll get Thank You Hashem to brand that sticker.
That's an awesome story. Wow.
Yeah. And I'm not a shot fan. Like, it's not something, I've been very involved in pairing people up with jobs, but not setting up young, you know, couples, so, or any couple. So this, you know, I learned so much over the course of being part of any of my organizational involvement. And, you know, we sometimes don't even know what we accomplish until we actually try it. So I'll end with that. It was so nice meeting both of you.
Ew.
I'm hoping,
so much.
thank you. And I'm hoping that whenever there's the next cohort meet, you know, you both will be joining it, you know, whatever Jenna has planned going forward, and I get to meet you personally.
I hope so too.
Looking forward.
Okay, take care. Have a wonderful rest of the
Summer.
next few months. Yeah. Take care. It was really nice meeting both of you.
You too. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.